Welcome to lesson 2 of homeschool reading with the Teach Hub. My name's Claire Hubbard and we're going to be looking at a book by Polly Walker, and we'll be looking at the book today. This lesson is for year 1 and for year 2. We've already looked at the vocabulary and now we're going to move on to actually looking at the text. So bear with me while we switch over and I'll show you the book. So this is the text as I showed you in lesson 1. And what we're going to do now is look inside the book and start to read a little bit before I show you the text that we're going to be using in our work. So here we are. Here's the worm, slug, maggot and leech. Now, I'm not going to show you all of the book, but we'll get part of the way through it so you can see what's going on. So, it's lovely this because it all rhymes as well. In Mini Beast Land, once upon a time, wriggling, jiggling, making slime. In the grass and the mud below live worm, slug, maggot and leech. Hello! They lead such adventurous, jolly lives, but still, they just aren't satisfied. Look at the picture here. They've been a lovely couple together. They're just not satisfied. Look, they're trying to sort of decorate themselves because what they're thinking is, I'm so round, I'm too ugly, I'm too plain, we're all down. Oh dear, they're really not at all happy, are they, with their looks? So, what we're going to do before we go on to that next page is have a look at the text and see if we can find the vocabulary that we were looking at in lesson 1. Here we are. So these are the skills that we're going to be looking at in our reading. Today we're going to look at retrieval, a little bit about visualize. That means just thinking about what things may look like. We'll be clarifying things that are going on, and we'll also be obviously looking at the vocabulary. So let's switch to the vocabulary now so you can see. And those are the words we were looking at in lesson 1. Wriggle, plain, dislike, ugly. And thank you for anybody that sent any work in to show us that you looked at those words. Peaceful, explore and investigate. And there's that lovely picture. I've actually put that one as the background. There's the 3 creatures looking up. Polly sent me some of these lovely pictures to use whilst I'm teaching you. So thank you, Polly, for those. They're absolutely wonderful. So here we are, lesson 2. Now this is the year 1 text. What we're going to do is to read it out. I'll show you what to do in year 1. So year 1, make sure you're listening really, really carefully. Because I'm going to read it out to you, and then what we'll do is we'll just show you year 2, and year 2s you can have a go at reading yours on your own in the same way. So what we do first of all is I want you children to watch and look at the text as I read it out to you, because it's very similar to the book that I've just read, but I want you to now look at the words and follow the text. Just as I read it out loud to you. So, Worm, Slug, Maggot and Leech by Polly Walker. Here we go. Worm, Slug, Maggot and Leech lived in Mini Beast Land. They loved to wriggle, jiggle and make lots of lovely sticky slime. They played all day in the mud and grass, but they just weren't happy. Each one disliked something about how they looked. One was too plain, one was too ugly, one was too round, and one was too pink. We can guess which one that is from those pictures. They tried to work out how to change their looks, and so they thought and thought. And they want to change their looks. Now, just visualise, just see if you can just picture in your head a worm. Think how plain he is. I'm sure you've all seen a slug. You know, they're just like snails without the shell. They're very slimy, aren't they? And then a maggot. You may have seen a maggot in some old food, maybe. and then a leech. I'm not sure many of you have seen a leech. We've made a little pink leech here, but they're all very, very plain. Okay, so visualize first of all, just imagine those creatures and where you've seen them before. Pause the video for a moment to just talk about where you may have seen any of those creatures or those mini beasts before. Okay, so now we're going to do something called echo reading, which means I do a little bit, you do a little bit. So we're going to take it in turns. So my turn, your turn. I want you to copy me exactly the way that I say it, when my voice goes up, when my voice goes down, and if I pause or stop, particularly with a comma or a punctuation mark. So I'm going to start by looking at this word here. We're going to read just a little tiny bit from here to here, okay? But I'll read it first and then you copy. So I'll stop. You ready? One was too plain. So you say, one was too plain. One was too ugly. One was too ugly. One was too round. One was too round. And one was too pink. And one was too pink. They tried to work out how to change their looks. They tried to work out how to change their looks. And so they thought and thought. And so they thought and thought. Super. Okay, so we've read it all the way through. We've done a little bit of echo reading. Now we're going to read it together with me at the same time. But I'm only going to start from here. Okay, are you ready? Read it with me from here to here. I'll try and point on the way, or you can probably see. I'm not sure if you can see this cursor or not. Okay, you ready? One was too plain, one was too ugly, one was too round, and one was too pink. They tried to work out how to change their looks, and so they thought and thought. Okay, super. Now, the next job for you is to look and find those words. So those words that we looked at earlier, I want to see if you can find them. So you've got to scan with your eyes. And you've got to look for those words: wriggle, plain, dislike, and ugly. So I'm going to stop now, just so that you can have a little look for those. So you pause the video and have a little look and point to them. Okay, lovely. Year 2, your text is very, very similar, but you've got more words because you've got the words that we were looking at before. You've got the word peaceful in there, explore, and investigate. So working with somebody at home, get them to do exactly the same as me. They'll read it to you. You do a little bit of echo reading, so their turn, then your turn. And then read it all at the same time, all together. Okay, you'll see it's just the same. There's just a few more words in there. So you'll be able to find those afterwards as well. The resources for this, if you want to highlight them, are on the website as well within the pack. Okay, once you're familiar with the text, we can then move on. And what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the task sheet. And there's the words if you need to find them. In both of those, I'll just skim through those so that you can see them if you need to when you come back to the video. Okay, so here's your task sheet. This is Homeschool Learning Lesson 2, Worm, Slug, Maggot and Leech by Polly Walker. First of all, where did the animals live? You need to go back to the text and find where they lived. You can just retrieve those. I'll go back to this one here, back to the year 1 one. You can just retrieve it because it tells you where they lived within the first sentence. So you can answer that question. And there's some paper to write it on underneath these pictures on your task sheet. I've just taken the top of it off here. What didn't the animals like about themselves and how do you know? So it does again tell you a little bit about how you can just go and find that. But how do you know means you have to think about that. It tells you here what they didn't like. How do you know that they didn't like them? So there's a little bit of inference, using clues to find out. And then for a bit of fun, I thought you can draw an ugly animal and label it. So you've got a little box here to put an ugly animal in at the bottom. Okay, and that's year 1 and year 2 to fill those in. Please put any work that you've done onto our Facebook page site, Hubbard Consultancy Limited. If you find it and post your work on there, you could win the signed copy of the book. We've got 3 of them, so you could win your own signed copy. But what we're going to see is we want to see these ugly animals labelled. We'd love to see your answers as well for retrieval and inference. This is inference, where you're trying to find clues there. Okay, so lovely. If you could do that for us, that would be splendid. And then we'll take you through to lesson 3 next time. Okay, so thank you very much. I'm going to leave it there and we'll catch up with you in lesson 3. So have fun and don't forget to go on the website, theteachhub.co.uk, to find the resources like this that you can see in front of you there. All right, thank you.